How you begin your day determines how you carry it. The Stoics believe that every morning is a battlefield where you decide, will I rise as a man of discipline or will I surrender to weakness? Most people open their eyes and immediately hand their peace to the world. They reach for their phone, scroll through noise, and before their feet even touch the ground, they've already lost control of their mind. A Stoic refuses to live this way. He begins with intention. When Marcus Aurelius woke each morning, he reminded himself, you will meet difficult people today, selfish, arrogant, deceitful. Why did he do this? To armor his mind before stepping into the world. Intention is the shield against chaos. Without it, you stumble through the day reacting to whatever comes your way. But with it, you become the commander of your own actions. Starting with intention is not complicated. It is powerful because it is simple. When you wake, ask yourself, what kind of man will I be today? Will I choose patience when tested? Will I stand firm when challenged? Will I keep my words honest, my actions just, my mind calm? Setting intention is not about perfection, it is about direction. The archer does not control the wind, but he can aim with clarity. Living without intention is like sailing without a compass. You may move, but you drift. The day pushes you, pulls you, scatters your focus, and before you know it, the sun has set and you wonder where your time went. But the Stoic who begins with intention wastes nothing. His hours are shaped by choice, not by chance. Even in small things, intention changes everything. Eating becomes nourishment, not indulgence. Work becomes service, not slavery. Conversations become meaningful, not noise. The Stoic knows that the day is short, and intention turns ordinary hours into extraordinary opportunities for virtue. So tomorrow morning, before you rise, claim your mind. Do not start in distraction. Start in silence, in gratitude, in clarity. Write down your purpose if you must. Repeat it in your heart. Set your battle lines. Because once you step into the world, temptations will try to break your focus. Distractions will fight to control you. And if you are unprepared, they will win. But if you begin with intention, nothing can shake you. You may be insulted, yet you remain calm. You may face setbacks, yet you stay unbroken. You may be tempted, yet you choose what is right. This is the power of beginning your day like a Stoic. Remember this, how you start determines how you finish. Begin with intention, and you will end with strength. One of the greatest teachings of Stoicism is this: control what you can, release what you cannot. Most of the suffering we experience is not caused by the world itself, but by our resistance to it. We rage at the weather, we complain about other people, we despair at fortune, we fight against events that were never ours to command. And Gay just said this. The Stoics called this madness. To waste your energy on what lies outside your control is to live as a slave to chaos. Epictetus said it clearly. Some things are in our control and others are not. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, these belong to you. Everything else is borrowed, fragile, temporary. Yet most people flip this truth upside down. They obsess over outcomes, over appearances, over what others think of them, while ignoring the only kingdom they truly rule, their own mind. Think about it. You cannot control the traffic on the road, but you can control your patience in the car. You cannot control whether someone insults you, but you can control whether you react, in anger or in calm. You cannot control the twists of fortune, but you can control whether you meet them with despair or with courage. That is where your true power lives, not in the outside world, but in the fortress of your own will. When you understand this, your life changes. Insults lose their sting because you decide whether to be offended. Setbacks lose their power because you decide how to respond. Even pain itself becomes lighter because you decide the meaning it carries. This is not weakness, it is the ultimate strength. The man who controls his reactions cannot be conquered by circumstance, but mastering what you can control requires discipline. It is easy to slip back into blaming the world, pointing fingers, or drowning in self-pity. That is the path of weakness. The Stoic path is to pause, to breathe, and to ask, is this within my control? If yes, act with courage. If no, let it go. This practice sharpens your clarity and saves your energy for battles worth fighting. When you live this way, you no longer beg life to be easy. You become strong enough to face it as it is. You stop wasting time wishing others would change, and you focus on becoming unshakable yourself. The storm may rage around you, but inside, you remain still. You are no longer a puppet pulled by strings of fortune. You are free. Master yourself. Master your day. Because the truth is this, you cannot command the world, but you can always command your mind. And the man who rules his mind has already won. Every day will test you. That is not a possibility, it is a guarantee. People will irritate you, plans will collapse, fortune will turn against you. The Stoics did not sugarcoat this reality. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings by reminding himself, "Today I shall meet interference, ingratitude, arrogance, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." Why? Because expectation is armor. If you expect the world to be smooth, you will be broken by the first stone in your path. But if you expect resistance, you walk prepared. Adversity is not an enemy, it is a teacher. Every challenge that arrives carries with it a chance to strengthen your character. The heavy weight that tries to crush you is the same weight that builds your muscles. The betrayal that wounds you is the same experience that teaches discernment. The failure that stings is the same lesson that teaches resilience. A Stoic does not curse obstacles, he transforms them into fuel. Think about fire. When the wind blows against it, the weak flame dies, but the strong flame grows fiercer. That is the Stoic way. Hardship can either extinguish you or ignite you. It depends on whether you embrace it as your training ground. Every obstacle is material for your growth, if you choose to see it that way. Most people waste time wishing for an easier life. They dream of days without struggle, without pain, without resistance. But the Stoics knew that ease creates weakness, comfort softens the spirit, while adversity hardens it into steel. The man who endures difficulty becomes stronger, wiser, and more disciplined than the man who never faced resistance. When you expect adversity, you remove its power to shock you. Instead of crying, "Why me?" you respond, "Why not me?" This shift changes everything. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start seeing yourself as a student of life. Every trial is a classroom, and every setback is a lesson. But here's the key. It is not enough to endure adversity. You must use it. Endurance alone is survival. Use transform suffering into growth. Did someone insult you? Use it to practice patience. Did fortune betray you? Use it to practice detachment. Did failure knock you down? Use it to build perseverance. This is the alchemy of Stoicism, turning life's lead into gold. So do not run from difficulty. Do not beg for comfort. Expect the storm and welcome it, because the storm will not last forever, but the strength you build from it will. Remember this, adversity is not the enemy of a good life. It is the doorway to it. Use it, and you will rise unshakable. The Stoics believed that the mind is a fortress. If you allow every enemy thought to march in, your peace will be stolen, your discipline shattered, and your clarity destroyed. What goes into your mind shapes what comes out of your life. And yet, most people guard their houses more carefully than their thoughts. They lock their doors at night, but leave their minds wide open for fear, envy, and distraction to take control. A Stoic lives differently. He guards his mind like treasure. Guarding your mind means being aware of what you feed it. If you constantly consume gossip, negativity, or trivial noise, do not be surprised when your spirit feels restless. Your thoughts are seeds. They grow into words, and your words grow into actions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are poisoned, your character will be poisoned too. So choose carefully. Train your mind to focus on what builds you, not what breaks you. But guarding your mind is only half of the discipline. The other half is guarding your tongue. Words, once released, cannot be taken back. They can cut deeper than swords and leave wounds that never fully heal. Epictetus warned, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The Stoic knows that silence is often more powerful than speech, and restraint more commanding than impulsive outbursts. Think of how often men destroy opportunities, relationships, or even their dignity because they could not control their tongue. An insult thrown in anger, a careless word spoken without thought, a secret shared out of pride. These moments of weakness cost far more than they seem. The Stoic does not allow his mouth to be a weapon against himself. He speaks only what is necessary, what is true, and what is kind, or he remains silent. Guarding your tongue also means refusing to be controlled by others' words. An insult is only powerful if you accept it. To the disciplined mind, insults are empty air. Seneca wrote, "It is not what others say that harms you, but how you respond." The man who guards his tongue does not waste it on retaliation. He masters his silence and keeps his strength. When you guard both your mind and tongue, you become unshakable. The world may scream, but your mind stays calm. Others may provoke you, but your tongue remains under command. You carry yourself with quiet strength, and that strength demands respect. So guard your mind like a fortress. Guard your tongue like a blade, because once you lose control of either, you lose control of yourself. But if you master them both, you master your day, your relationships, and ultimately, your life. The Stoics understood a truth that most people overlook. Happiness does not come from more, it comes from enough. Modern life is full of noise, pressure, and endless chasing. We are told that success means acquiring wealth, status, possessions, and recognition. Yet the more we grasp, the emptier we feel. The Stoics rejected this illusion. They knew that real contentment is born from gratitude and simplicity. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Think about that. Poverty is not the absence of money. It is the endless hunger for more. A rich man without gratitude lives in misery, always chasing, always restless. But a man who has little and gives thanks for it lives in abundance, because he understands that joy is not in possession, but in perception. Gratitude is a daily practice. When you wake, thank life for breath in your lungs, for strength in your body, for the people you love. Do not overlook the simple blessings that surround you every day. To walk, to see, to hear, to think. These are treasures greater than gold. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This mindset transforms an ordinary day into your best day. But gratitude alone is not enough. You must pair it with simplicity. Complexity and excess weigh down the spirit. The Stoics practiced minimalism not because they despised comfort, but because they refused to be enslaved by it. Comfort is dangerous when it becomes dependence. If you cannot live without luxury, then luxury owns you. Simplicity trains you to be free. Epictetus lived as a slave with nothing to his name, yet he carried himself with dignity because he understood this freedom. He needed little, and therefore he could not be robbed of his peace. The less you depend on, the less the world can take from you. When you train your soul to find joy in simple things, food, water, shelter, friendship, you become untouchable. Gratitude and simplicity also sharpen your discipline. When you no longer crave what everyone else is chasing, you free your mind from distraction. While others waste their lives competing for status or comparing possessions, you live with clarity, focused on virtue and purpose. True greatness comes not from adding more, but from removing what is unnecessary. So live this way. Find wealth in gratitude, freedom in simplicity, and strength in needing less. Do not measure your life by what you own, but by what you can live without. Do not envy those who appear rich or pity them, for their chains are invisible but heavy. The man who is content with little is the richest of all. This is the Stoic way. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and simplicity turns enough into abundance. Practice them daily, and every day will be your best day. At the end of each day, the Stoics practiced reflection, not to dwell on regrets, but to sharpen the soul. Seneca advised, when the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day, going back over what I have done and said. Why did they do this? Because an unexamined day is a wasted day. Reflection is a weapon. It allows you to confront your weaknesses, strengthen your virtues, and prepare for tomorrow with clarity. When you sit in silence at night, ask yourself, did I live with honor today? Did I waste time on trivial things? Did I guard my mind, my tongue, my actions? These questions are not for guilt, but for growth. Each reflection is a mirror showing you where you fell short and where you stood strong. Without reflection, mistakes repeat. With reflection, every error becomes a lesson, and every lesson becomes progress. But the Stoics paired reflection with something even more powerful, remembering mortality, memento mori. Remember, you will die. At first, this may sound dark, but it is not a curse. It is a gift. Death is the great awakener. When you accept its certainty, you stop postponing life. You stop waiting for the right time to be disciplined, to be courageous, to be kind. You realize that today is the only time you truly own. Most people live as if they have endless days, as if tomorrow is guaranteed. They waste hours in distraction, in anger, in trivial pursuits, never realizing how fragile life is. The Stoics lived with urgency, not panic. They understood that death gives value to life in the same way scarcity gives value to gold. If you had infinite days, none would matter. But because your days are limited, each one matters infinitely. Reflection combined with mortality transforms the way you live. Imagine ending each day by asking, if death came tonight, would I be at peace with how I lived? If the answer is no, then tomorrow must be different. This practice sharpens your discipline, strengthens your gratitude, and awakens your courage. You stop living half-heartedly. You stop tolerating weakness. You begin to live fully. The Stoic does not fear death because he has lived in such a way that every day could be his last, and he would not be ashamed. That is the power of memento mori. It does not paralyze you, it energizes you. It reminds you that time is not to be wasted, but to be used in the pursuit of virtue. So tonight, when the world grows quiet, sit with yourself, reflect on your day, own your flaws, celebrate your progress, and remember, you are mortal. One day, the sun will rise, but you will not. Let that truth guide you, not into despair, but into strength. Because the man who lives with reflection and mortality in mind does not waste his life, he honors it.